Morning. Morning, Malc.
How you doing?
Good, yeah. 62 beats 47.
Yes.
Episode number 30.
Episode number 30.
Wow.
Wow.
Big 3-0. That's a lot, man, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
good. The journey continues.
We've been here 30 times.
The journey continues. You were telling me you washed the shirt?
Yeah.
That's good.
Smells good. Yeah.
You don't need to do it too often, okay?
Really? Does that sort of take away from the sort of the...
Well, when did you last wash it? A while ago, eh?
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
About
Don't worry about it. But anyway, just looking back at last week, some would say I had a setback, but I prefer to call it a learning experience.
Okay.
Okay? Is that that's a good way of looking at things, isn't it? And we've had a few learning experiences during the year, haven't we, Mark?
Yes.
Yes, but anyway, moving on to this one. So I was down in Lethbridge, one of my favourite places for a book festival and book signing, which was very exciting.
Cool. Yeah.
But also I did a couple runs. Mm-hmm. So I did one on the treadmill, half an hour, which went very well, no problems at all. But the next day, a couple of people I met down there, a couple of runners, wanted to do a run in the coulees.
Right.
Now, just explain the coulees in Lethbridge. Interesting, There's a river, the Old Man River, and on either side there's basically, I wouldn't call them cliffs, but they're steep slopes going down to the river. Right. And all the way through this valley are trails up and down these steep slopes going down. Mm-hmm. Quite tricky running, a lot of twisting and turning, a lot of climbing. In fact, that's where I've done a couple of my big ultras in the Lost Souls, the 100K and the 100 miles. So really like the area. We ran for 45 minutes and I'll be honest, came back and there was soreness in the left calf. Mm-hmm. So I was concerned. I mean, I thought, oh my gosh, have I, put things back? Have I re-injured it? And so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. On the Monday, I did the stretching, followed what you and Evan had suggested. Yeah. Felt not bad. Tuesday did the same. Again, nothing too crazy. Just a bit of walking, a bit of elliptical. Oh. And then the Wednesday, I did 20 minutes on the treadmill. Right, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, that's interesting. So in my mind, I haven't re-damaged it, right?
Sure.
But did I kind of push it? What's your thoughts?
Without getting too scientific on it, just really, it's giving you a message. It's just a feedback saying, here's where I'm comfortable, and please listen to me and please respond. So that's what's happening there. Is you're just getting that feedback to say if you carry on like doing this,
there will be damage.
So it's for someone like you who's tuned in, you're listening to your body. It's a really good thing. Okay. It's telling you where you're at any time, like how far you can push. So doing like that 45 minutes of a kind of aggressive off-road.
Yeah, it was
clearly that's
right. That's pushing it too far.
It's saying I'm not too happy with this. If you'd done the 45 minutes continuous on the treadmill, I think you would have been all right.
Oh well, I was the week before. Learning experience.
It's basically just telling you like where you are in the recovery, basically. Over time, if the recovery is progressing correctly, you should be going longer and longer and longer, and no problem. So and then more and more aggressive terrain, no problem. So it's just telling you kind of where you are in the full recovery time. So
good. Yeah. So that was not a setback. Not a setback.
I mean, you still got 45 minutes of fun running out of it.
Oh, it was amazing. running on those trails, as I say, up and down the hills and along the river and so on. We saw a deer and a porcupine. And that's what it's all about, getting out there and hitting the trail. So that was good. No, I don't regret that for a minute. But now we're looking ahead now. It's going to get interesting. This next week, I'm around. Yeah. So presumably we'll continue with the treadmill running. Is kind of
for now
what you're thinking, right?
Push out the time.
A little bit longer.
For me, I prefer to rather than have people running on more challenging terrain or places. For me, it's preferable to just push out the time in a controlled condition. I find that once you start getting beyond 1 hour of running totally fine on a treadmill, then the outdoor running starts to just happen anyway.
Well, it will have to because not to say this is the perfect training scenario. But next Thursday, I head off to Afghanistan.
Yep.
And I'm away for a couple of weeks, and during that time, I will be running a marathon. So so how can I frame this in a way that so I will be.
It's happening.
Yeah, that's the way it is. That's just the way it is, and I'll be taking it as sensibly, I guess is the term, as I can over that period. I mean, I've obviously run that distance many times.
Sure.
I won't be pushing it at all. This is a case of really running there to support the women and the girls over there. So I'm not going to not do it.
Sure.
And we'll just see how we end up at the end of that. And I would think that, okay, it's going to get done, but then recovery, right? I've got to be smart once I finish that.
Yeah. And
that's maybe something we can talk about, is because the key then is, okay, I'm going to do it. All right. Malc, that's the way it is. Okay.
It's like,
and you understand
things,
that.
It's fixed,
but then the recovery and getting back and looking ahead then to the half marathon, the last chance half in November. So that's that's kind of the stepping stones, right?
Yeah. So, exactly right. So the recovery won't be too bad, because you're not, when we talk about having long recoveries off the back of marathons, that is when you're pushing hard in the marathon.
Okay.
So that's the kind of classic situation. You know, people are trying to run as fast as they can. When you go into a marathon, you've done it before many times, and you're going into a marathon, you're not pushing hard.
Not pushing hard, no.
Obviously, recovery time's nothing like as long.
Okay.
So, like, one of the things that pops into my mind is when you had a calf injury. And you're going to go to do this marathon, you're probably going to be running considerably slower than normal pace.
I will be. Yes.
So the problem there is that affects the calf.
Okay.
So the calf likes to switch on and off very quick.
Okay.
It doesn't like to be, the muscles don't like to be on for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Because it's not a massive muscle. And really all it does is kind of create a situation for the tendon to work.
Okay.
So the thing about, if someone has a calf issue, and if they're going to run a slow run or marathon, then that's my red flag, is that as you know, like in the runs that we've done, I've said to you so far, like, don't run slower than X pace. Yeah. Right. And the reason for that is when you run slower than a certain pace, which is changeable for everybody, but is that you then, I don't want to get too complicated about it, but you spend that little bit more time on the ground where your foot's in contact with the ground. Yeah. The calf spends a little bit more time under tension and load. Okay. And it can get annoyed. Okay. So that's one thing, like to think ahead of. On that. Okay. So let's talk about kind of strategy then, right? Yeah. I mean, it's probably worth spending a couple minutes on that. Mm-hmm. I mean, normally I'd kind of do a 9 and 1. All right, type of thing. Okay. But how about? I mean, So rather, let's talk about a pace that I should run at for a certain period, and then how about walking? Right. Yes. Is that not a bad Can you do that? Well, absolutely. So what I'm thinking is, rather than like do 9 and 1 slow. Yeah. Do 7 and 3s, but the 7 run at a 5:30 pace. Would be great from my perspective. Does that make sense? That would be really good. Is that okay with you? Yeah. So then it would be sort of, and then walk 3. Yeah. Is that a little better? It is. I mean, totally feasible. Yeah. Totally feasible. I actually say that because if you hadn't had any problems at all in the last 6 months, I'd say like just run whatever you want to run. Yeah. In a race. Yeah. But I've been down this road many times. Okay. And I feel like it's a disservice, like from me to you as a coach, if I don't tell you. Yeah. No. Where this goes. Yeah. And so holding a pace like 5:20, 5:30, then walking. Yeah. And then again, is that better? That is better. Absolutely better. Well, yeah, I've never really tried that, to be honest. I've never tried, a little bit quicker and then a longer walk, and why not? I mean, it's up to every individual whether you run all the way through, whether you do 9 and 1s, 10 and 1s with the running room, or in this situation maybe look at doing 7 and 3s. Yeah. Right, doing a 5:30 pace. Yeah. And then walk for 3 minutes. Kind of loosen up. Yes. And then it's sort of almost like long interval. It's like a long interval run. It is. Over 4.5 hours. Yeah, and which actually, is good. Well, mentally, it'll actually break it up, and well, this is it. Yeah. But from an injury recovery prevention standpoint, it is better. And I often prescribe that when people come back from in a recovery period, that's interesting. They do intervals, and the reason why is because, and I was talking about this at the camp recently in Canmore, is that we all have a natural gait pattern and a natural rhythm and hence pace where our running mechanics are better.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
Yes. In other words, if you go too slow, thinking it helps the injury, it actually doesn't, because it's not your natural. It's not your natural gait.
In most cases, you want to come back in the recovery period where you're coming back to running. You want to come back to a pace where your gait is at its best mechanically.
Okay.
When you start to shuffle, because you're very conservative on running too fast, you start to shuffle. You start to change certain things in your running gait, your running mechanics, which will not help your recovery.
Okay.
Even when you're looking at knees and issues around the knee, again, if you spend more time under load through that knee, so with certain injuries that can really hold back your recovery.
Yeah.
The body, in certain parts of the body, it's made to act in a more springy, dynamic way. It wants to fire the muscles and then off. That firing signal switches off, muscle relaxes, and it wants to keep doing that. What it doesn't want to do is it doesn't want to go fire, go on, be held on, and then off.
Yeah,
it doesn't want to, yeah. So
that's good.
That's the reason why.
Well, okay, so this is great. So now really that marathon will be a long interval session. Is one way of looking at it.
It's the best way I think in terms of your recovery.
Good. Okay, mate.
Yeah. And so it will look a bit odd to other people around.
It may look odd, but I don't care.
You've got to get to the finish.
I've looked odd before, and I will look odd again. So, okay, Malc, well, that's it. I'll be back in... the
other thing I was mentioning as well, just real quick whilst we're on that, is that is also worth, when you're in the situation you're in, is also making, in your head, having a plan B. So in your head saying, I know what I'm going to do if... So let's say you're like 20 Ks in, you're 30 kilometers in, something it's not good, right?
No, absolutely.
So then it's good to know like the what if, like, okay, so if this happens, I've already predetermined, I've already said before, this is the course of action to take. So that you might want to go into the race knowing, right, if it does this, if it gets to this level of uncomfortable, I'm going to walk in the rest of the way.
Okay, well, actually, that's exactly my thinking. There's a 7-hour cutoff, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And that'll be in the back of my mind as I start with my 7 and 3s.
Yeah.
But as I hopefully get some mileage in, the key then is there'll be a point where I can walk in and still come under the 7 hours. Right. If you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of the trade-off that I've done I've done 20K with the walk run, but now this is not good.
Sure.
It sounds crazy, but yes, I can walk in the other 22K and still get in time.
Yeah, and in your mind, your thought is basically forward to the next 2 races.
Yes.
And the difference between carrying on and walking in is like, can you do those next 2 races?
Absolutely.
And always, like in every scenario I've ever seen, like anything like this, it's always good to have that, like, the decision's already made before you started the race.
Yeah.
Because in the race, you don't want to be making those decisions.
No, well, that's good, Mark. Well, look, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I'll be back on October the 18th.
I thought it said 16th.
Well, our next session, episode 31, episode 31. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you the experiences.
It's going to be really
Take care.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.